Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Today, we are doing what is considered by a lot of people to be the best part of Elden Ring, which is Lanedale Royal Capital. Um, Currently hanging out outside of it because we still have a few things that we have not done on stream in the run up to it. Hopefully, I will be seeing Captain Caveman's summon sign around here soon, and also hearing Captain Caveman's voice. Are you there, Cam?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Cool.
Sorry, I was muted.
All
yeah,
good.
my bad. Captain Caveman accidentally pulled one of those tree sentinels, so this,
Oh
this
gosh.
is what
Okay.
I got him though. So I'm walking back to get the
Sweet.
put my sign down.
See you shortly.
Oh.
So I know we will talk about it in detail when we're walking through it, but any initial thoughts on Lanedale while we're waiting?
I like Lindell. I think it's a cool mixture of feeling kind of like a little bit kind of like Anne Orlando, but with a sort of like central Yarnum flair to it, where it kind of feels like you're like wandering around through the streets of this big holy city, which I think is neat. I think it's not as tight a dungeon as Anne Orlando is, but like nothing is.
I think that's a good. Those are two good points of comparison.
Yeah.
Because Central Yarnum and Anne Orlando are good for completely opposite reasons. Where Anne Orlando feels very tight and designed, and it's all centered around challenge.
Yeah.
And sort of training you on a particular type of challenge they're going to assess at the end. Whereas Central Yarnum is this big, sprawling, maze-like place that doesn't necessarily have like a mechanical focus to it, other than like you just feeling surrounded by mobs. And you do get kind of both of those things here. It's not quite as mechanically tight as Anne Orlando, but it definitely gives that feeling that Anne Orlando gives.
My sign is down next to that Grace, by the way.
Huh, I am not seeing it. Oh, I'm not.
You got
I don't have the
password on.
Do have the password, but I didn't have my little remedy.
You're not furled.
I'm unfurled. I am now furled, but it's taken a second to show up.
I might need to replace it.
Yeah, try that one more time.
Yeah.
Hey, Mo. By the way.
What's up, Mo?
We had a spammer in chat. If you're able to go in and ban them.
But yeah, but if Shala Shaska is still in here, it was like a bot of some kind.
Huh. Is your sign re-put down?
It is.
I wonder if I can summon you here. Would there be any reason I couldn't?
I don't think so. My sign is it's letting me put a sign down, unless it has something to do with the fact that we already killed the
we did
the
kill
guy like guarding the like super tree sentinel, but
can you see my sign? I just put one down.
Let me. I mean, if I could see yours and you couldn't see mine, that would be really weird.
It would.
And you are at the Outer Wall Phantom Tree, Grace, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I may need to just run through here.
Yeah.
I will still do the little market fight.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna run past this Blackblade Kindred because ain't nobody got time for that.
I might have time for that.
Yeah, I was gonna do it with you, but no thanks on my own.
Yeah.
Maybe you could stop chasing me.
Hey, Kev's here.
Hey, Kev.
Said that his silly TV app updated and made him re-enter.
Oh, man.
The Twitch apps are all terrible, all of them.
Truly.
Twitch itself is kind of terrible. Just awful service for awful people.
And
terrible people use or consume.
You know, we talk a lot of crap about Twitch. And one thing that I think we haven't mentioned is that it's kind of a monopoly. Is there any other site who offers, this to a comparable scale?
YouTube.
That's true. But then we're just talking about monopolies on top of monopolies.
Yeah. Do you want Pepsi or Coke?
Yeah.
That's basically what we're talking about there. Yeah. It's not good. Neither of them are good. YouTube sucks, and the algorithm is bad, and it boosts bad people. And everyone who owns YouTube is terrible, and their team is terrible, and I hate them. And it's run by Google, so like of course
it's run by Google. Yeah.
And then, but in a real like episode 1, there's always a bigger fish thing. Twitch is run by Amazon, so like I'm very tempted to use a curse here, but I won't.
Well,
I will say this simply, that I hope everyone that works, I hope that the business and the administration of Amazon, I hope everyone who does that has a very nice time.
Have a good evening.
I hope that you have a very, very nice time, perhaps, in your sleep this evening, or maybe you have a nice time on your way to work in a car tomorrow, or you find a way to have a nice time by some accident or something like that.
There's any number of ways they could have a nice time.
There's lots of ways you can have a really nice time, and very many objects that you can use to make people have a nice time.
Yeah.
And also, I'm pretty sure all of their addresses are like public information too. And so if you ever want to go and make them have a nice time, you can do that technically.
Non-actionable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about going and throwing a birthday party or something. You know what I mean.
Anyways, people watching stream just saw me kill Margit, which is the second time we've killed Margit. He was the first big boss that we fought. The first boss the game kind of funnels you to, and after you fight him, he has some kind of ghostly, haunting words he leaves you with after he dies, basically amounting to "we will meet again," which we just did. We just met again, and now I'm looking for the entrance to Lanedale. I think I'm going the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll meet you at the Castle Rampart, Grace. That's where I'm headed.
Sweet. If anyone saw us several weeks ago sprint through this to get the Altus Plateau Coliseum, just pretend you did not see that.
Yeah.
And that this is the first time we are making our way through this land.
Oh, I have to actually walk into the dungeon to put my sign down. That's fine. This build, this is kind of a fun thing to mention, is that our builds are both kind of approaching completion, I guess you would say, right?
Correct, yeah.
Like, and this build has, because it is just kind of like a pure strength build, with nothing else going on, it's a type of build I have done before with a different weapon, but it is funny to see how much it changes from weapon to weapon in this game when you're doing pure strength. And I am like kind of curious about running a couple of different weapons in pure strength, but I don't know if I would do it on this character build or not, or if I would just like grab another character and respec them. Because I am interested in trying to do like a Zweihander build and stuff like that. Good old Zwei is always good.
It is the last time we're going to be seeing Captain Caveman for a while. Like this game, that is.
Yeah.
So if you want to play around with some other stuff with him, feel free.
Nah.
I am playing around with a new weapon tonight because I finally got statted for the Moonlight Greatsword, which has some fun ice effects.
Yeah. Yeah, Emma, if you want to just tone, bro. If we really need you, I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
You can just chill. You don't gotta. You can take the night off, or just chill and listen, and whatever. It's not gonna be a big deal if some spammer gets in here. I don't think Kev is gonna be clicking on any links.
I don't think I am a big enough streamer to really get bombarded with spam.
Yeah.
Where did you say your sign was?
It's like from Castle Rampart, you just got kind of like walk into Lanedale and it's sitting there.
Let's see. I am at East Castle Rampart, Capital Rampart. Is that the Grace?
Yeah. No, sorry. I'm just at Capital Rampart. I'm not at East Capital Rampart.
Okay, I will.
I can go in there though if you want.
Sure, I'll talk to
That's
Bach
fine.
while you are doing that.
Yeah.
Because here he is. We haven't seen this guy since first stream or second stream, something like that.
I think it was the first one.
But
oh, hey, Finral's here. Hello, Finral.
Hey, Michael.
We have a real, actual, literal mods are asleep situation going on here. So
Truly.
Don't click on any links that come through the chat.
Correct. Bach is very dazzled by Lanedale.
Yeah. Okay, I put my sign down right next to East Capital Rampart.
Sweet. I will see you momentarily. I was going to say, it is cool, speaking of Bach being dazzled by Lanedale, that when you walk in, there is kind of a vista that you get to see before. It's like a non-combat zone. Just like, hey, take this in. Look at how cool this is. I love seeing the structure that's kind of coming out of their split Erd tree, which is where we're eventually going to fight Morgott. It's just one of those. This whole map is just one of those structures that looks so impossibly big that it couldn't possibly like all be playable game space, but it is.
A lot of it is, yeah. A kind of staggering amount of it is, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of spots that are a little difficult or impossible to get to, but it's pretty few and far between.
Yeah.
Wait, did you go back to the Grace to get me, or do I need to push up?
No, I am summoning
there we go.
him.
Cool. Nice. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
Lanedale was also, for me, kind of a big, like, and I guess it's like this for a lot of people. If you're kind of just progressing straight through the game, it sucks that like you kind of I personally kind of feel cheated out of Castle Redmane. Like I think it's kind of a cop out that there's not really anything there.
You were going the wrong way, unless you want to look at this vista.
Oh no, yeah, I was just coming to look at it.
Yeah.
But. So it feels nice. It felt nice for me when I was playing the game to like show up here, and as soon as you see this, you're like, oh, I'm in like a legacy dungeon. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, this is I'm gonna be here a minute type of thing.
I don't know how you feel about this. I've heard many people say that this feels like a thing that From has been building to for 7 games. Like it feels like the apotheosis of like everything they've learned about how to make these spaces and these combat encounters.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty fair assessment of it. I mean, there is a lot of like masterful stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Like in the way that everything is laid out. Enemy placement seems very, very deliberate here in a way that it doesn't in every other place. Like I personally really, really love like the Halig Tree and Elphael, right? But I think that like the very first part of Halig Tree where you're just kind of like running around on the branches and there's just dudes everywhere, it sort of like doesn't really it doesn't really feel like, it feels like they kind of like did a Sim City thing where they just like ran a sim and they were like, that wasn't complicated enough. And so they just kind of like copied and pasted a couple of the dudes and placed them in more places.
I mean, Halig Tree being less structured compared to this does kind of fit with what those spaces are. But I would definitely always prefer a more thoughtfully considered like
and I think that there's a difference too, right? Like if there's kind of a confusion going on with that first little bit of Halig Tree on terms of like the enemies you're fighting too, where they are like very disparate and stuff like if it was just okay, we're in the branch of this tree and there's just these big old bugs here and there were a lot of them, okay, sure, you know, I'd buy the whole like like you're just getting swarmed, it's supposed to feel chaotic and all that stuff, which I know it is, but
kind of like the forest in Bloodborne.
Yeah. The fact that like that you're getting a weird mix of like these dudes that are very clearly just there so they can shoot you from far away while you're busy with the ants and the ants and like stuff like that. It just kind of feels like it feels more gamey in a way that this part doesn't.
What do you feel like those guys are, by the way? Because it's interesting that both the Halig tree and Lanedale have those guys kind of planted around the outskirts, pointed up at the tree.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be like envoys, right? And I think that I think they're kind of doing a so a long time ago. Can't funk with me has invaded.
No, I beg to differ. We can funk with you.
We will be funking soon.
Let's get funky.
Let's see. We should probably just like hold here.
Yeah.
And see if they'll. Yeah, there they are.
Oh man.
I yelled at you.
I got yelled at.
This boy yelling. Didn't expect to go to the principal's office today.
Oh, did he die?
Well, yeah, that no.
Oh no, he's still alive.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying about Lanedale. Every corner of it is like a lived-in space.
Yeah. OSHA compliant. You won't, don't die if you fall down that.
Oh, yep. Did he get you?
Yeah. I got nicked by the little dude. He threw up. Yeah, he got you too. The little dude that right there that's swinging around at nothing. He like hit me in the back with a lightning bolt, and then I was like kind of staggered and hit me. That's fine. Anyway, so back when we played Bloodborne, we've talked about a poem, or a short story, I guess, by Lovecraft.
Nyarlathotep.
Nyarlathotep. Where the end, we talked about how crazy the ending of that poem is. Like, it just like goes into this insane prose about, like, honestly, probably my favorite like thing Lovecraft has ever written.
Yeah,
is
the
that
last paragraph.
Yeah. And one of the things that it talks about in that little last paragraph that is like very, very evocative, weird imagery is it says that there are like it says like the pounding of drums and the whining of tinny flutes, and I think that like that the envoys are trying to like evoke that, like they're these weird little flute players that are just kind of there to like serve at the pleasure of like the deities here. Like they just like do songs of praise with their little flutes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In a kind of like weird way that doesn't really quite make sense, like kind of absurd, like type of thing.
So do you think that they are being placed there in the Halig tree as a way of like being structured the same way?
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to, because the Halig tree kind of mirrors Lanedale, right? Like, it's supposed to be this like blasphemous mirror of Lanedale. But like, why would also there be ants there? Like, if it is like, you know, civilized to the point where these guys would be hanging around it, why would there be like these killer fire ants running around?
Well, I mean, we'll talk about it when we get there, but it's like a failed facsimile of the Erd tree, right? So it makes sense to me that it would be kind of overrun.
Sort of, but only insofar as like, give me the enemies kind of, you know, butting heads with each other then, you know?
Yeah,
like,
that could be cool.
Instead of them just like hanging out in complete harmony like the bugs do with the guys in Noxtella or something, which is also cool, but like you get more stuff there because they can like ride around on them, so you get this sense like they've been like tamed, you know? And it just doesn't really come through in Halig Tree the same way. It sort of just kind of feels like a bunch of enemies plopped together.
For sure. One thing that I like about Lanedale is how often you are kind of going in and out of indoor spaces.
Yeah, yeah,
which
kind of on promenades. You spend a lot of time on promenades, like just kind of moving, like across from one building to another.
right.
You know, it's neat.
Do we want to go in here? Or do we want to go around? We can go in here.
Let's try to get the perfumer first.
Yeah, let's get him.
There we go.
Yeah, you mentioned that your build was approaching completion, and mine definitely is too.
Yeah.
I'm still just waiting on my health to be bumped up to where it eventually needs to be, and I'm waiting on some ice spells that we're going to get in Mountaintops of Giants. But I think I'm going to be hopping back and forth between the Moonlight Greatsword and the Cold Greatsword, just kind of hot swapping. I don't have a whole lot in my inventory right now, so it should be pretty easy.
General says, I figured the flute guys were just fans of big trees. You know, who among us, right? Who could say they aren't? Ow.
Who is shooting fire at us? Or electricity?
This guy.
Everybody's got electricity in here.
I might have some envoy stuff on me, actually. Let me see really quick.
Oh, yeah?
That might be a fun little thing.
You want to be in disguise?
No, I just to read it.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I don't. I thought I did.
Tragic. Yeah, I definitely don't. You get it later. Is it you get in the Halig tree?
Think so, yeah. You get the hat in the Halig tree somewhere, which I haven't been to with this character, so that makes sense. Enjoy, Emma. Go with God.
Enjoy your sandwiches. Yeah, this level kind of fluctuates, like how, I don't know, public of spaces you are in. I felt very unsafe when I walked out onto what feels like the main street of Leyndell here the first time through.
I'll tell you what, I feel so good at fighting these things.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like I know every single thing about them.
There's so many of them.
You have to fight them so often. And yet there's so many, and you have to fight them in such different weird spots, and like you have to learn basically everything about them. Sometimes you got to fight two.
And it's literally the Asylum Demon. So if you are like me and have played Dark Souls like an untold number of times, like there's a lot of muscle memory built in from that.
Ow.
Excuse you.
Ow.
I like our fire and ice unga bunga dynamic we got going on right now, I gotta say. Is this open? This is not open. We'll get back there later.
There's the message and then open area ahead.
We need to go right.
It says lever required ahead. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways we can go.
Yeah, there's not really a correct path through this. It is like you just come across forks in the road constantly.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I always sort of just like vibe out in Leyndell a little bit every time I play it, and I'm happy to do that.
That's one reason that it kind of doesn't feel like a legacy dungeon to me, because I think of legacy dungeons as being very much like there's one way that's kind of funneling you through it.
The reason that I think it's such an impressive space, like design-wise, is because it's like a huge version of a legacy dungeon, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like a legacy dungeon with with legacy dungeons in it,
Right.
and like it feels like an open world dungeon, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
you're meandering around through a city, and
Every direction you turn has a
can be something.
dungeon-like space in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I?
So it feels
Yeah.
like a really good kind of like, I don't know. This is where the Omen Killer and stuff is.
Yeah, let's get this guy.
There's a Grace down here. Nice shot.
A little too far away.
Rip.
Good game, Omen Killer.
Yeah. This is where you get the old boy's armor in here too.
Oh yeah, this is the guy that you see Fia with in the opening cutscene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lionel.
Yeah.
In the deathbed dress. We haven't really touched the Fia stuff at all.
Dude,
we can do it later.
You want to know what's funny about Fia?
What's funny about Fia?
I have never done anything for Fia at all in this entire game. Like, of all the times I've played through it.
Really?
I, like, rested my head in Fia's lap once when I very first played the game, and I was like, okay. And I just never did it again.
But you've beaten
and then,
the dragon at the end of her quest, I'm sure.
Yeah. But, like, you can kind of do that without doing all of her stuff.
For sure, you can just show up.
Yeah, and that is what I have done for all of the Fia stuff. Is, like, I just show up in an area, and it's like, well, there's... Like, the funniest one to me is, like, down in the underground thing, and I just, like, showed up in this spot, and it's, like, where Godwin's corpse is, or whatever, and I was like, all these people started spawning in, and they're like, oh, I'm Fia's champion.
I forgot about this thing.
Oh, yeah. The boy. One of too many of these things.
One of way too many of these things.
Yeah.
I wish there was, one less of these and one more of the... like Guardian Avatar or whatever they're called.
Yeah, or Tree Avatar. Yeah, I hate Ulcerated Tree Spirit. It's big, clumsy fights. Not good. Also, you just do it too much. Like, if you did it like 2 times less or something, I think it would be fine.
You know, the one I really hate is the one in the Halig Tree.
Oh yeah,
Scarlet rots you, and you have a teeny tiny space to fight it in. Yeah. And you basically have to constantly be walking through the space, otherwise you get Scarlet rotted.
Yeah. That was like one of my big like a big like haha at you game, because you gave me the tools to trivialize you. Was like when I played that area with my Pyromancer, and I was able to just like sit up on a cliff and throw fireballs at the Ulcerated Tree Spirit.
Very nice.
It took like 5 straight minutes or something, but the Tree Spirit like couldn't even get its AI to like path it out of the pit it was standing in. So I was just like, whatever, GG.
Where should we go?
We can go this way.
Okay.
Kill this guy.
Up.
Yeah, sure. We shouldn't go down, because there's not really anything down there,
right,
unless we want to do the,
There's some hands.
Yeah, the poop gobbler is down there.
We'll go do that stuff once Lanedale has been burned down.
Yeah.
Invaded.
Old Cathos.
Huh.
I'm gonna stand up on a roof.
Yeah, let's get some high ground.
Advantage. Where is old man? Where's this man? There he is.
There he is. You gonna jump down?
He's being cool. I'm gonna let him have you, or let him try. If he starts acting weird, I'll jump him.
You got an axe.
I know.
Not enough axe users.
Often. I love a good guy with a big ol' axe.
Oh, he poisoned me.
Although I would never do it myself. This man's trying to poison. He's using poison.
Oh, I did not mean to do that.
Crazy.
Oop. Man, this is not a great weapon for PvP. You can read it too easily.
Yeah, I'd switch to your greatsword.
Oh, and I'm dead. Whoops. Okay, I will summon back in at the last grace that we just found.
The
The
one
one near the Omen pillar.
Lionel. Yeah, I'll move to it. Emma says the one in the Halo tree is easy if you have a caster. It'll kill you. I'll kill it for you when you guys get there, says Emma.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
it honestly will be a huge pain with these two characters. Uh, Doubling its health and having to like
Oh
slog
God.
around in that mess. Okay, let me. What is that grace even called?
I will let you know.
Lower Capital Church? Is that it?
That sounds right. Let's see. Lower Capital Church. That is correct.
Cool. On my way.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to Great Sword until we get to Morgott.
You know, I was thinking about how I can't remember if it was last stream or the stream before, uh, when you were talking about how you think you might do Hollow Knight next.
Yeah.
I just keep wondering how far the can will get kicked until you do Sekiro.
Oh God. Man, I actually booted it up the other day just to see, like, you know what? I wonder how much easier Sekiro is for me now that I am a little bit more acquainted with fighting game stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't that long before I was like, you know what? This just isn't that fun for me. I will beat it at some point in the future, but I'm not in a hurry. Where is your sign? Oh, there you are.
You got me. Yeah. Yeah, my big thing about Sekiro, like like I do like Sekiro a lot, but my one thing with it is, do you want to go this way?
We can go whichever way.
Yeah. Is that like I know a lot of people really do like to, but I just like got basically nothing out of trying to replay it. Like once I cleared it, I was kind of like, well, that's that, and I just never really went back to it again.
I mean, it's gonna be pretty much the exact same experience, right? You can't change your build or anything. You can't really sequence break it that much.
I mean, the idea is you can run through guys that you thought were really hard at the beginning, but outside of like, you know, Madame Butterfly maybe or something like that, like you refight all those guys anyway. So like, I was kind of like, well, maybe not. I don't know. And I did when I restarted it. I did play like through the first couple of bosses, and then eventually it was kind of like, you know,
right.
I'm good. Yeah.
My second time playing it, I guess I've really only played it the 2 times. You know, barring one quick one-off sit down with it the other day. But the second time I played through it, I did like burn through the first bit of the game way faster than I did before. But then eventually I hit a wall and it just kind of stopped being fun for me.
Yeah. That's fine. I think that's valid. I think it's I don't know. For me personally, I think it's kind of a more interesting game to think about and to like talk about than it is to actually like physically play it.
Yeah.
But I do like it, but I think I kind of admire it more than I like it, like minute to minute.
I'm glad that they did that. Like they made a game that was all about the really, you know, precise combat of the Souls games.
Yeah, I mean, also like there are things about it that are just like you're either going to like it or you're not, and that's it. Like there's no changing it. And I feel like with Sekiro, I feel it's kind of like parts of it are doing that really well, and other parts I don't think are all there. But like, whether it's just to taste, like it's whether it's just like a taste thing or an actual like design thing, I don't know. There are things that I do think are just not good about it,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the issues that I have with Sekiro personally are things that I think could be chalked up to just taste. Um, and that's fine.
Right.
But
Because the game is so much just what it is.
yeah,
It's not.
unapologetically so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, and I kind of admire that about it. But yeah, and there are stretches of the game that I think are like incredible, like beyond anything that I have ever played in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
there are other stretches of the game that I'm like, this is so stupid and so bad, and I hate it so much. Uh, but yeah, and that is also probably part of the thing that keeps me out of replaying it is that the slog sections of Sekiro are such a low point for me that it's hard for me to kind of like push myself back through them just to get to the high points again.
What are the
Um,
slog parts of it for you?
um, I really feel like the game kind of like for myself personally, I think that there's a certain point in the game on terms of like when it as it's like progressing where it really becomes like a big wet fart on terms of like the overuse of bosses being so egregious and back to back so quickly.
Mm.
Um,
They
and
do
it's
that a
near
lot
the
in this
end.
too, but you have more
Yeah,
tools to deal with them, and you can avoid them.
yeah.
Um,
And I don't like it in this either,
yeah, oh
to
for
be
sure.
clear. But in Sekiro, it's kind of like such a linear thing and done in such a linear way that like I'm kind of like also when you're in like the castle, like the main castle area, you like have to run through that thing like so many different times.
Mm.
And like you're not really getting to me like a fully different enough experience as the time cycle goes through in the game for me to really feel like a lot of worth in running back through it over and over. And
Is
so
it
that's part
exactly
of
the
it.
same every time you go through it?
No, 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 no. But the things that change about it are like very like I would liken it to like Dark Souls 2 versus Scholar of the First Sin type of thing. Like,
Mm.
similar enemies or maybe a new enemy here and there, but like they're put in different places and they'll like chuck a boss in there, like stuff like that.
I like that
Um,
we started talking about repeated enemies as we came across a Blackblade Kindred,
right.
which I have run past earlier in this very stream.
Okay,
Um,
wait. Do we want to go up here or do you want to go to our hunter's dream?
um, oh yeah, let's do that. That's way
Yeah.
cooler. How do we get there?
We can go this
Down?
way. Yeah. But yeah, I might have like used it before in this stream, but to me, like the word I would use to describe Sekiro is uneven. Like it is ambitious, and when it works, it's amazing. But like
Mm-hmm.
the parts of it that don't do really, really don't, and that it's difficult. Oh, Ted is here. I've
Hey
been
Ted,
waiting for this. Tomorrow is Ted's birthday.
happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Ted,
Ted, from the Captain Caveman to
and
you,
Glacia.
to you, my boy.
Do you have a boss request for your birthday? We're gonna do Morgott, and then
We got to
after
get through
that,
Godfrey and all that
yeah,
stuff first, though.
we're not that far off
Okay,
though.
so where are we, Andrew Swafford?
Huh? So we are in what appears to be the Round Table Hold,
Uh-huh.
but it is empty, and things have been, knocked from the walls. Looks like it's almost been ransacked.
Yes.
We're finding interesting items here and there, like where Fia usually is. There's a hero's rune, and then I just got a pose in front of a painting of Marika. And we're really just kind of being asked to question, like, what exactly is the Round Table Hold? We've been going to it the entire game, but where exactly we've been going has always been somewhat of an unanswered question. Because when I open up my map, it's just like on this little cloud in the bottom left-hand side of the map. And so I think the best I
Also,
can...
the two fingers here are dead.
Yes, so there is a dead two fingers
Mm-hmm.
in the room where the chamber of the two fingers usually is. And this is where there's a sword, I believe.
Yeah, it's the Bible man sword.
The Bible sword.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's not a two fingers. There's just nothing.
They're just not here.
Yeah.
And you can just break the throne.
Coated sword. Why don't I read that? That might be worth reading. Let's see. Wait, where is it? Oh, at the top. Hidden sword once granted to the tarnished of the Round Table by the two fingers. A formless cipher comprises its blade, which deals holy damage no shield can repel. Champions would gather at the Round Table hold in days long past when the two fingers were masters of oration, their flesh yet full of vigor. Oh, we got invaded. Let's kill the invader, and then we can talk more about what is real.
Are they gonna jump?
Is there anything down there? Well, let's keep them up here if we can. No. Okay. Oop.
Ow.
Oh yeah, you like that? What do you think of this?
Every time. I run outside. Sure is.
Yep.
Oh, he's just you. He's just like a little frost boy.
Mm-hmm. But he's just doing all the int stuff. Oh. I'm intentionally not doing spells that are not icy. Staying in character. Oh! This is cool. This is a fun little encounter. I'm going to get rid of these ads. Oh, man.
This guy is just blasting me. I'm dead.
Are you dead?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, he's about to kill me, too. There is way too much going on here. Okay, I'm dead.
Yep.
Did we get a grace in the Round Table hold?
No, but there was one like not too far away. It's the one that is called. Is it West Capitol Rampart? I think maybe.
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look at it. There is one in there, but you didn't get it. The guy killed you.
Whoops.
Yeah, it's West Capitol Rampart. That's the one.
Cool. So yeah, best I can make sense of the Round Table hold situation is that, you know, it is this space, this sanctuary for people who specifically are, at least ostensibly, trying to kind of fight on behalf of the Golden Order. It is a faith or a sect, I suppose, but like the largest, most dominant sect of Tarnished who are trying to fulfill the prophecy of becoming Elden Lord and restoring order to the lands between, right? So because it is this spiritual, religious, bunker, I think that it is just like a completely spiritual plane that the Tarnished are able to access if they can see the guidance of grace. And this is like, and it's meant to be like this reproduction of the space that once existed and was thriving inside Leyndell. How does that sound? Does that seem kind of accurate?
It seems like that's what it is to me. My sign is down next to the grace, by the way.
I yeah, I mean, I wish that there was a little bit more to it, like the round table hold that we go to.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was kind of a little bit more like talking about it because like in Bloodborne, the Hunter's Dream is kind of the same thing, but like what the Hunter's Dream even is kind of like a big mystery in the game that
It's
like
pretty
gets solved
central.
as you play it, you know. And it's there are other like reproductions of it. And in this game, we do have these weird like little like extra planar like things going on, most notably like the jails. But like that
Mm-hmm.
is very clearly like a different piece of tech altogether that like creates
Right.
the jails. So I wish that there was like a little bit more with the roundtable hold and like what it even is and why it is what it is when the hunter's dream is such a neat thing and such a big part of it. But in this game, they're just kind of like, yeah, tarnished you can see grays, they can go there. It's
It
like,
definitely
oh,
gave
okay.
me a similar feeling as coming
Mhm.
across the abandoned workshop in Bloodborne the
Mhm.
first time I came across this. But that feeling is kind of the initial feeling is almost all there is
Yeah.
as far
Yeah.
as I can tell.
You don't like pick up items here that give you a better understanding of it outside of the coded sword that just sort of implies that at a certain point, the knights were here instead or something. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
and the two fingers at one point could talk, like to everybody and not just the finger eaters.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, I mean, it just kind of feels like it's here after, like, when I very first played through the game, when I got here, I was like, whoa, like I
Yeah.
was, I was very like, oh, this is so cool. It's like the physical place that the round table, but I started immediately, like, my brain was immediately like, what does this mean? What does that mean this is gonna be? All this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And it just doesn't really go anywhere.
I
It's
mean,
just kind of
it
like,
is kind of
yeah.
interesting that there's a two fingers in the quote unquote real roundtable hold, and there's not one here. Or I guess the
Mhm.
functional roundtable hold, and there's not one here. Because it does call into question like whether or not those two fingers are real, or are they kind of, they could, I guess, be some sort of faith-based projection on the part of
Uh-huh.
people like Gideon,
Yeah.
etc. But there's just not really much else to it.
Yeah, I mean, we just know that it's like attached to the Erd tree. That's about it. Because when you catch the Erd tree on fire, the round table hole burns too.
True.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's, I mean, like, you just don't really get enough about it to really feel it out that way. Like, like the same way that you do in Bloodborne. And Bloodborne also has like the same thing going on too, where it's like, oh, you go to other dreams. It's just that all the other ones are like awful. You know
Yeah,
what I
there's the
mean?
Nightmare of Mensis and
Yeah,
the other
Nightmare
Nightmare
Frontier, yeah,
Frontier.
where
I
you
kind of
can
wish
tell that
that there
they're,
were other holds for the
yes,
other sects.
that's what I'm saying. Like if the,
Like, why
you
doesn't
know,
Mogwin Palace have a roundtable hold equivalent? Or, like, why
yeah,
can't you use the Volcano Manor as a roundtable hold if you decide to join that covenant?
right.
That would be really
And I
cool.
guess I guess like what the game is doing is like, well, you're a tarnished, and this is what tarnished do. Oh, the lever is up there. I forgot.
Up
We
where?
forgot to go hit it. I'll show you. We should go this way. Um, the game is being like, well, you're chosen by this to do this, which
Mm-hmm.
means like you go here, right? And the hunter's dream is doing that too. In Bloodborne, Eileen says that she used to go to the hunter's dream. Like she was like, I used
Mm-hmm.
to dream about about that place, but I don't anymore. And it's like, there's something going on with that there too. But there's just more there in Bloodborne, which makes it feel like, oddly enough, it makes it feel like mysterious and like interesting. And here it's like, even though there's less like actual information about it, because there's so little, it almost feels like there's just like nothing to it. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of feels like a, well, this
Oh,
is some
man.
kind of like,
Sorry, I got killed by this explosive crossbowman.
oh, nice. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of something that just sort of feels there and that I wish there was more of. And maybe in the DLC or something there'll be a more like full understanding of what all of the like projections and stuff are, because as it stands, it kind of just seems like a way for them to kind of conveniently repeat stuff, but because we don't really like know, and like a single item, like, right, like if the like field boss Morgoth that you killed dropped like some stupid thing that you could read that's like, back in the era of the the age of the Erd Tree, like powerful deities were granted the ability to do X or Y or Z thing, everybody would be like, okay, that's why, that's the lore reason, right, that we're fighting all these same guys with different names. But it just kind of like doesn't do anything with it. And I know that's sort of like the From trademark, to leave things unanswered, but it's almost like I would push back against that and say I think that what From does is they give you a little crumb, and from that you can like imply so much more. And for this, in Elden Ring, in some instances, and this just happens to kind of be maybe one of the more egregious examples of it, you're not really even given the crumb. You're not given anything.
Right.
So it's just kind of like the image, and that's it.
There's a thing that one of the Bonfireside chat hosts says a lot, which is that he thinks that when FromSoft is at its best, they're hitting like this 70-30 ratio of giving you enough like fragments of the narrative or of a character to where you're able to kind of fill in that unwritten 30% for yourself. But there needs to be a lot already kind of outlined for you in order to finish the picture in that way.
Yeah.
By the way, I am at the Grace Inside fortified manor.
If you want to pop up to West Capitol Rampart, that's where the thing is to open that door.
Cool.
And I can show you where it is. At least I think I remember where it is. Yeah, and I think you could probably quibble with like the ratio, right? Whether or not you think it's like them giving you actually 70 bits of 30 or.
But that 70 is like after you've pieced together every item description that mentions the thing, right?
Yeah, and I feel like that. Like the notion is true, and I believe it. Like I believe that it works best when From is not necessarily. I mean, they're giving you the thing in fragments, and something that Elden Ring does sometimes is doesn't even give you the fragments.
Yeah,
it just kind of gives you the image, and you're like, okay. And then I think that sometimes, you just need a little bit more than that for it to be like satisfying in any kind of way.
And for a game that is so much about factions. And like choosing to blaspheme, as opposed to keep the faith. There are no covenants, like we talked about last week or the week before that. And like, turning your back on the two fingers doesn't actually change the way you mechanically use the round table hold.
Right.
It's still your main hub.
Yeah, you would think that like at least if you did like Frenzied Flame, like you just couldn't go back there anymore. Like you'd have to go if you wanted to go to like a safe place, you would need to go to like the bottom place because there's a grace there and all that stuff. But I don't know. But like then again, thinking about it, like with Dark Souls 1, if you go Dark Wraith, it's not like you can't go back to Firelink Shrine. You can. It's just that like Bramp isn't there anymore.
But Firelink Shrine is also not like a spiritual plane that only the chosen can go to, right?
A real, actual place. Yeah.
It's just a place with a campfire that a lot of people hang out at.
And I think that you can get into territory really quickly if you want to, where you're doing a lot of like what I think some people who try to dissect Souls games do sometimes, where you wind up in a sort of like a Calvinist spiral, where it's sort of like, well, you're still allowed guidance of grace and the entry to the round table hold because everything is serving the two fingers in one way or the other. And it's like, well, no, though. Actually. And like
there are very real ways in which you can defy them.
And also it's like it's not like the two fingers are like an ambiguous, like, or the Golden Order is ambiguous or something, right? It's not it's not the same as in like Dark Souls 1, for example, where it's like, the Age of Fire is kind of like this massive amorphous thing that like you could be moving down the track of fulfilling the prophecy of it, and it still look like you're doing something else, but it doesn't really track here the same way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it's a game. There's only so many things it can do all at once, but sort of one of those things where it's like you're implying things and then not really following up on them, if that makes sense. And whatever. That's fine. It's just that like I know that they can do more, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Because they have before. And it's one of the things, like, one of my, like, chief criticisms of Elden Ring is there's almost, like, so much stuff with stuff like that it starts to feel like there's nothing.
Everything is, like, kind of shallowly drawn because they have to make it so wide.
Right. And it sort of feels like almost like you can't get a grip on anything at times, for me. And, yeah. Which is why I like stuff like the Halix Tree so much, is because there's a lot going on there, and like a lot to be learned from. Yeah, a lot to be learned from like item descriptions and like stuff like that.
Okay, I will summon you back here momentarily. I'm gonna go get my souls from where I dropped them before.
Okay, sounds good.
Anyways, that was Godfrey.
That was Godfrey. That was the dead first Elden Lord.
Or at least a golden ghost illusion of him.
Or at least what, Swafford? This is the issue.
Well, one thing that's kind of...
What even was that?
So we've fought projections before. Loretta is a projection, and she's like a ghostly blue one because she's a projection created through like sorcery. And I guess the implication is that was a projection created through faith, because everybody here is, has faith for the Golden Order. Most of all that guy, I guess. But one thing that kind of befuddles me about it is that why didn't Margit have a golden? Why wouldn't we fight a golden Margit when we fought Margit?
At least the field one being gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something, but no.
It just seems like sometimes those are rules and sometimes they're not.
Yeah. It's like, well, okay, so when you do a projection, sometimes it's all shiny and weird. Loretta, Godfrey, whatever. Sometimes it's like you walk into a room and you say a couple words and you turn to your mom, like Ronnie with Renala or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I guess like Margit is like Tin Shin Han from Dragon Ball, and he just like claps his hands together and makes three of himself.
Yeah.
He's like, you go do this, I'll go do that, you go do that, and then there's just not really any. Yeah, it's like what. You couldn't give us something about that? Like, what is this? Because if you don't do anything, it starts to come across like, especially if you're me and you played Elden Ring directly on the heels of Sekiro, where you're like, you guys are just reusing this crap. Like,
yeah.
That is all this is. And that's fine, but it's just like,
it cheapens it.
It does cheapen it just a tad. Ted says Felix, he's talking about Felix Biederman, who's one of the Chapo hosts that's like a really big Souls guy, says that he thought Elden Ring was a bit too wide in a Q&A show.
Yeah.
He thought Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne are the tighter games. Yeah, I don't think that's like arguable, really.
Yeah.
By the way, people call him Gold Free.
Gold Free. I'm going to level up a little bit since I have 1,000,000 souls at the moment.
Ted says birthday bosses. Can you do Dung Eater? Quailag was talking about him on her stream recently. We're gonna do Dung Eater when Lanedale gets like flattened later. He says actually I think Esger would be my pick. Who the heck is Esger?
Is that a typo?
Let me go find out.
Edgar?
Esger, Elden Ring. No, Esger, Priest of Blood. He's right.
Oh, okay. Where is that?
Lanedale Royal Capital.
Huh.
Blood Exaltation.
Which grace do we need to go to do that?
Oh, he's in the catacombs. So that's another one, Ted. These are both ones that we're gonna do after.
Oh yeah.
Because we have to go all the way through Shunning Grounds to get there.
We'll do the
So it's
Shunning
gonna be
Grounds
like
on its own stream.
Yeah, it's gonna be its own. It's gonna be its own thing. Unfortunately, if you have anything that is in the Lanedale like overworld, or
I
whatever.
don't really know if there are, like, how many bosses are actually in Lanedale, like with boss health bars, aside from Godfrey and Morgott. Are there?
There
any?
was no. I'm talking about like in I guess Altus Plateau.
Yeah.
Like that
There's
we could
also
get
the
back to.
capital outskirts. There's a lot of stuff in there that we haven't
Yeah.
done.
It's only 9:10, so we do have time if you think that you've got one. Oh right, let me go back up to that room where Godfrey was. Sorry.
We had also talked about doing one of the heroes' graves, since we have not talked about any of those. And we talked about maybe doing a surprise little fighting game stream after Morgott, if that would be a thing you're interested in, Ted.
Yeah, Ted, you could get in. We might do some Third Strike for like the last 30 minutes or so. Ted says, sorry, this is where stuff in the story starts getting funky to me. I usually do it in regions. No, trust me, you're fine.
Yeah,
There have been
there's
so
a
many
million
times
ways to do it.
when I have gotten to certain areas in Elden Ring where I'm like, I know this dude is like under Lanedale, but I can't remember how far down under it he is.
Mm-hmm.
Is he like in the Shunning Grounds, or is he like way underneath it, you know? So, and unfortunately that Esger guy is like, he's in the catacombs, which are below a dungeon that is below the dungeon we're in right now. So okay. And when I looked him up, Ted, and I saw him, I remembered who you're talking about. That old boy.
Do you want me to summon you in the Godfrey room or at the Grace beyond it?
You will not be able to summon me until like you're gonna have to push up to like the Queen's Bedchambers.
Oh, that's right.
There. Yeah.
Whoop.
I like that there is a non-respawning black knife near the Queen's Bedchambers, where it's like waiting just in case one of them came back. I think that's cool.
That is very cool. Good flavor.
Yeah. I also think the Queen's Bedchambers is a cool looking area.
It is.
I like all the like stacks of stone, all the like Ten Commandments looking things that are just like stacked all over the place.
And all these
anyway, my
dead
son's down next to it.
Oh, there's the knife. Black knife.
One of the things that Quaylag actually said in one of her streams, where she was talking about a lot of the cool bits of Elden Ring, I think the most effective stuff in Elden Ring's like lore presentation is like the whole civilization stacked on top of civilization stacked on top of civilization thing.
Yeah.
And she's talking about how like there was obviously a point in history where the stars were like very sacred. And like there are lots of spots in Liurnia where there are like structures that are the astrolabe shape, like the big half bowl thing that's used to kind of like help collect starlight. But when you get to Lanedale, like America is literally just like using one as a bed, where it's like it doesn't even mean anything to her anymore. Like,
do you think this is an astrolabe?
Yeah, for sure. It looks almost exactly like it. It's just way bigger. But it has like similar carvings and stuff on it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never put that together.
It's just that like the upper part of this one has carvings on it that look like the tree. So it's like that they put that on later or something.
Very cool.
Yeah. There's also a really neat little like fun poke in this game that you can kind of get later, is that in Liurnia there's not a ton of like stakes of America, which I think is really cool.
Because
like,
Renala is anti-America.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not putting statues of this lady up in my
I do not ship it.
area.
Yeah.
No, yeah, just like no way.
Also, neat that you can summon Melina for this fight.
If you like Melina.
I usually do, just for fun.
No. Melina's a punk.
All right, let's watch this really cool cutscene.
This is really cool.
I like this guy. Even
He's
though
great.
he shows up so many times and he's annoying, he never shuts up.
I love the voice and I love the writing for him, so he can talk all he wants.
He does really have like grumpy substitute teacher kind of thing going on, where he's like, all of my stupid brothers and sisters and cousins, they all suck so bad and I hate all of them.
Nobody else
I'm like,
showed up to the meeting.
Basically, yeah.
I guess I'll do the work of this group project.
Yeah.
Willful traitors all, he said.
He's got his vibe sword.
Yeah. I love that. Have it writ upon thy meager grave. Felled by King Morgoth, last of all kings.
Last of all kings is great.
Yeah.
So
He's got my same shirt on. We're wearing the
True.
same clothes, me and this guy.
twinsies. We haven't talked about this much because when we fought him the first time, we weren't really deep enough into lore stuff to really talk about who he is.
Yeah.
But this is one of Marika's kids.
Yeah.
Marika has these 3 different sets of kids. One set with Godfrey, one set with Renala, and one set with herself, Radagon.
Right.
And the ones that she had with Radagon all have M names, and they all are kind of messed up in some way. Gosh, I always struggle to like think of the names when I'm like grouping them all in my head together. But there's obviously, oh God, who is the one that everybody hates?
Mikola? Or are you talking about Melania?
Melania. There's Melania
Yeah.
who has like a Scarlet Rot arm, and she's kind of being pursued by the Scarlet Rot god. There is Moog, and there's Morgoth, both of which are omens.
Yes.
And one thing that we'll learn later is that Moog and Morgoth were originally shunned in the like the sewers below Lanedale because the royal family was trying to hide their
Right.
existence from the public. But you know,
But aren't Morgoth and Moog are her and Godfrey's kids, right?
no,
And
I think they're all the M kids are Melina or Marika and Radagon. Is that not
Well,
true?
then, wait, so her kid with Godfrey is just Godwyn? Is that it?
Godwyn, I think, is it. Yeah, that's like the
Okay.
golden lineage.
Okay, gotcha.
And so, yeah, there's the ones with Radagon, I think, are Melania, Morgoth, Moog, and you know, Mikola, fan theory Melina. I think that Melina is also one of Marika's kids. But I guess we do not have that confirmed yet. But yeah, anyways, after the shattering, it seems like all the other kids just sort of got into a turf war and then went their separate ways. This guy who was shunned by his family is the only one who kind of kept the throne, defended in any way.
We got a real, like, I'm not the stepson, I'm the son who stepped up type of thing going on.
Truly.
with
Yeah.
Morgoth. He was a little nasty boy. They didn't like him. they said ew when they saw him.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, get out of here. And his little brother, Moog, was also ooey nasty. But Moog was like, hey, yeah, you know what? I am nasty.
Are you
So,
a nasty enough dude to rule Lane Del Royal
yeah.
Capital?
And Moog, like, left and was like, all these people shunned us, so I'm going to go commit, like, really terrible sins.
Mm-hmm.
And then Morgott was like, no. The best thing that you can do is to be a very good boy and change the system from within or whatever.
I don't think he wants to change the system from within. I think he just wants to be on the throne.
Yeah. I don't even think he cares that he is on the throne. I just think he thinks that like the throne is cool.
It's a sense of duty, I think.
Yeah, very much. He's a very Stannis Baratheon type character, where it's like this is what it's supposed to be, whether I like it or not. And it doesn't matter, and anyone who is like going against that, that's their problem. It's not my problem.
Mm.
And like I will do whatever it takes to defend that because that's my duty, whether I like it or not.
Okay, Michael in chat says that Godwyn, Morgott, and Moog are from Godfrey.
That's what I thought.
I'm wondering how we know that.
I thought that for sure it says that it like says that somewhere. That those three. It's just that Morgott and Moog were twins or something.
Man, that is honestly kind of annoying to me. I like the way that all of the kids have like the grouped lettered names.
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I need to see receipts on this.
Yeah. See, it says, though born of the graceless omen, Morgott took upon himself to become the Erdtree's protector. He loved not in return, for he was never loved, but nevertheless, love it he did. So it's like one of those things. Like, he didn't really... He knew that people didn't like him. He knew that it was like a crapshoot, whatever, but he was like, you know what? I gotta make my dad proud. I gotta do it.
He's gonna come back someday. Okay, I'm resting at the site of grace.
Ted says it says Morgott is Godwyn's brother. It's on the Fextra Life. So, I mean, I think you need to show receipts at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just using the, I'm just connecting the letter dots. That's all.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm talking to Melina right now, who may or may not be a child of America. And she's telling me, like, surprise, you have another third of the game to play.
Right.
Because that everything in the game is kind of communicating to you that this is the end of Elden Ring. And then it turns out it is not. And you know what? There is stuff in the back end of it that I really like, but I kind of wish that a lot of those things were just optional secret areas rather than a thing that you had to go get railroaded through.
Everything after this point in the game feels like post-game to me.
Yeah, I agree.
And in a way that I don't appreciate. It's like Melina, well, for you, every time I get here, Melina has already ran away because she can't hang. But it's like Melina shows up here and is like, "Hey, buddy, so you're about 2/3 in. It's kind of, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gonna be downhill from here."
This is where we put the really unbalanced stuff beyond here.
We sort of blew a lot of our a lot of the like resources and our creative stuff on this that you just did. So I hope you enjoyed that. But
I think this would be a very satisfying conclusion if you just went beyond this and fought Radagon and Elden Beast.
I'll tell you what. I'll even meet you halfway. I will say, you get to this part, and she says, "Uh-oh, we can't burn the Erd Tree because it's made out of special stuff. But the fire, we got to get it from a another source." And she just transports you to Farum Azula or something. Like if you just, I know that the actual fire is in the mountaintops of the giants, but if the plot contrivance was instead that the fire was there, and that like they just like put all of the mountaintops of the giant stuff as like optional, go do it some other time thing, I would even meet you there. I would take Farum Azula here because I like Farum Azula, and the spectacle kind of matches the spectacle here. like in that you're in a big weird castle and stuff like that. But having this part and Farum Azula broken apart by the Mountaintops of Giants hurts the pacing so much.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh my god, you know, you got to go do this thing. You got to go up to the Mountaintops of Giants, which is a miserable area, and then you're like, okay, done, whatever, did the thing, and it's like, I hope you're ready to just go to another place. This time, we don't really have a good reason for you to be there until you get to like the very end. You're like, oh, I guess I'm getting the Rune of Death, even though nobody really like said anything about that.
Right. That was never really part of the deal that we needed to go get the Rune of Death.
Nobody really talked about that until like right now. But all right, I'll go do it.
It's like one more thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Ted says, Morgoth says he's the last of the kings, and that makes sense because Godwin's dead. I think Melania is Marika's daughter. She is messed up because they're the same person. Yeah. That's true. Also, her brother, whose name I can't remember, Mikola. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so it's Marika and Radagon, which whom star the same. They had the two like really jacked up kids, which like it's funny because Morgoth is pretty jacked up, Moog obviously very jacked up, but Mikaela and Melania are like cosmically jacked up. In
do we
they
think
are, like,
that
hosts of stuff? Yeah.
Do we think that Morgoth and Moog are children of Marika and Godfrey because Godfrey is like a tarnished and quote unquote like lower than
probably
the other people that Marika like reproduces with, and like maybe closer to the Omen?
Yeah, maybe. I think that so like the whole big thing is that the Omen thing apparently in a different civilization used to be seen as like a blessing thing.
Yeah.
And it seems to be that the only reason that there's two of them is just because they're twins.
Right.
But like, because Godwin is just like a normal guy, just seems like a very like Thor-looking dude,
right,
who then turns into whatever, like Death who ate space or whatever. But like that's because Ranni like tore his soul out and then his body whatever. But like the Moog and Morgoth are only jacked up like in a kind of like physical deformity sense. Like there's nothing really like wrong with them outside of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Mikola and Melania are cosmically messed up, and that would make sense.
It's like their souls are wrong.
Yeah.
It's like their equations aren't squaring properly, because they're born out of like the same being or whatever. Anyway, so what do you want to do now, Andrew Swafford?
What do you want to do now? Would you rather play some dungeons here and do some bosses, or do you want to help give me a third strike lesson?
Well, we've only got 30 minutes, so
yeah.
Why don't we just let me see if I can get to where is that hero grave anyway?
It is.
Oh, it's right
I already
there.
got
I
it.
see. I just need to get over to it really quick.
Yeah.
Why don't we just do that?
Here's grave. Yeah. Let's see how many times I die and need to resummon you in this place.
I think that I would like to. Yeah, I think that I would. I think with the third strike thing, I think I would like to just have a thing where maybe we start there, or whatever, and then maybe move into something else or whatever.
For context, people watching live or on YouTube later, the reason we're talking about potentially doing a third strike stream is that my school has a fighting games club that I'm the sponsor of, which has led to me getting more into fighting games than I was. And we are doing a third strike tournament starting this coming week, and I am participating in said tournament, and I'm hoping to do well. We'll see. But maybe if I get past the first round, maybe next week we'll do a little third strike stream to help gear me up. But I am in the hero's grave, ready to.
I'm clomping towards you.
Ammo, the Street Fighter collection that Third Strike is in is, I found it real cheap at McKay. I'm sure you could
It
find
is
it
very
cheap
cheap.
on the eShop
Yeah.
too.
It's just a big old Street Fighter collection ammo. It's got like
It's like 9
uh
games.
it's like several iterations of 2 and Third Strike and Alpha, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um
And the first one's on there too.
right, yeah.
But I have mostly
Okay.
played Third Strike.
I'm almost to the grave.
I'm playing Chun-Li, Ted.
Yeah, Ted. Yeah, Ted plays Chun-Li.
Oh,
Or
sweet.
Ted played Chun-Li in 5 at least. I don't really know if he played her in other games.
It seems like I'm glad that Chun-Li. I just kind of gravitated to her because I liked the feel. How she's really fast. You can kind of do a lot of button mashing, honestly,
Yeah.
with Chun-Li. Though I think I've graduated out of the button mashing phase. But it's good to know that she is both considered a very strong character and also a good intro character.
Yeah. She's definitely one of the best in most of the games that she's in, honestly. Just a kind of good, strong, all-around character.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm fighting the black knife that's outside. And
Cool.
then I'll be in there.
So this is a Hero's Grave dungeon. There are lots of these little small dungeons sprinkled throughout the map of Elden Ring, and they tend to fall into like one of 4 categories. There's the catacombs, which have skeletons in them. There's the skeletons and gargoyles, mostly.
As they are wont to do.
Yeah. There's ruins, which are mostly in the overworld, but you can find the final boss underneath them. There are tunnels where you find a lot of upgrade materials, and there are heroes' graves, and there are probably other categories I'm overlooking right now. But this is the only one of those categories we've not spent any time in because, in my opinion, they are really annoying. What are your thoughts on heroes' graves, Cam?
Yeah, they can be. They're supposed to be like the most challenging of them, and they're the most like dungeony in like an Indiana Jones sense. Like they're the ones with the most like hidden areas and traps and like stuff like that. They're trying to get your goat.
Yeah.
Those daggum heroes' graves.
And the traps are all or the big trap that you see over and over again always one shots you.
Yeah, there is a really like annoying like pathing trap in these things. My sign's down, by the way.
I'm looking for it, and I do not see it. But maybe it'll just be a second. I have no idea what boss is waiting for us at the end of this one, by the way.
I always forget. I don't know.
I do not see your sign. Let me unfurl and then refurl.
But yeah, from, me to you, if you wanted to try and play Third Strike like in advance of your tournament, I would be down to do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I doubt my abilities to really teach you very much about it right now at 9:30.
I feel you. I will be free. Let's see. I know that we're hanging out tomorrow to see Skinamarink. So if you wanted to come over before that, we could do that.
Okay. Yeah, potentially. I'll let you know. I'll let you know what's up.
I'll be free Wednesday and Thursday night as well, just chilling. So if you want to get on Third Strike, we can.
Emo says, I don't know if you can summon here anymore because you've beaten both the bosses in the
immediate
area.
No!
Oh, I figured that it would only matter for the actual play. Well, let me see if I can summon you. How about that?
Sure. Let's do that.
But I don't know if I think I might have beaten both the bosses too. But
whoops.
we'll see.
Okay, my sign is down.
Let me furl.
That's real dumb.
I hate it. Just let me do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you see my sign?
I do not yet, but I just furled.
Okay. Try to use the Taunter's Tongue, Ammo says. It won't let me.
You can't taunt. What's up with that?
No sign?
I am not seeing a sign.
Hmm.
I will see if I can use the tongue of the taunter.
Well, we could just make our way into Mountaintops of Giants and do the first bit of that.
Okay.
If
Well,
this
there's
is not
also
going to work.
there's the thing. There's like the little extra boss there and stuff. Right?
Oh,
Or is
like
that on
right
the way to Haley Tree?
outside Lanedale. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I will make my way. Let's see. There's a Grace, like on the ground level of Lanedale
You want to go
that
to
gets you close.
you want to go to Avenue Balcony. That's what you want to do.
Okay.
And then like get out of there and take a left and then just run up that road.
Now I probably won't be able to summon you there for the same reason I can't
doubt
summon
it.
you here. But I think once
Yeah.
I get out into like the wilderness area, I should be able to summon you.
Yeah. All right.
Oh no, I can't do the hero's grave. I'm so upset. Anyways, heroes' graves are annoying. Maybe we'll do one later on down the line.
They can be, for sure. I feel like the big thing about them is, once again, kind of a, I think a lot of it comes down to whether or not, like, it's one of those things where they kind of have one joke.
Yeah.
And if that joke is not working for you, you're not going to really like it, I don't think. And
Yeah.
so, although I will say, though, that the heroes' graves, I can't really even tell you why, but they remind me of Dark Souls 2. I don't know why.
Ooh,
like, it's very
yeah.
like a Dark Souls 2-y dungeony thing. I don't know. Like, to have this, I don't know. Like, it kind of reminds me of like the Chariot boss mixed with like a just like some of the dungeon design in Dark Souls 2, like the heroes' graves do.
That is a very apt comparison, I think. And I like Dark Souls 2. I have a fondness for it, but
I do too. Despite my own mouth and the things that I say about it sometimes. Okay, I have my sign down right next to like the Forbidden Lands, which is like you just got to ride the elevator up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm headed that way.
We're gonna be pawing around in the dark here for a few minutes.
Michael asked if I put any more thought into getting a PC. I have given more thought to it. I haven't put any action with that thought.
Put some thought to it, but no action.
No action. What I need to do is start a little Discord channel, maybe in my Swaff Souls Discord, that has you and Ammo and Matt, who has been a chatter occasionally. And just like get y'all's opinion on like what kinds of things should I get if I was to get a PC. I've been talking to my students about it off and on because many of them are PC gamers and have built their own PCs, and they've mentioned that like I should expect to spend like $1,500 minimum, if not like over 2,000, which is kind of more than I want to spend. I kind of hoped that I could do it for like just over 1,000, but I don't know how possible that is.
Yeah, it's just because it's stupid. Like, there's a lot of like artificial and like inflation of computer prices, like parts and stuff. Like, a big part of it is because like crypto, which is so annoying. Yeah, dude, doesn't that suck? Doesn't it suck for you to be like,
crypto is inflating computer prices?
It's for parts. Yeah, ask Ammo or Finral or whatever.
Oh, like because they need so many parts to keep all those
rigs.
Gears turning. Yeah.
Yeah, they need like high-end stuff. And like it drove prices. I know on like God, there was like a thing everybody wanted, and they like couldn't get it because the prices were getting driven up because they were getting bought up by like crypto farms. I don't know enough about
Dang.
computers to say that. Like what?
That is wild.
Yes. Yeah. They need graphics cards for data mining, or not for crypto mining. And then Finral says for a while it has. Yeah, GPUs are huge for crypto. There you go.
Is it possible to just like make crypto illegal? Is that a thing that we can do as society?
They do it in China, dude. That's what I'm saying.
Would that be good? I feel like I could
I think
see
it would be good.
some value in there being like currency that people can make and use themselves, but like if it's going to be this like huge resource and energy draining thing that is also like contributing to climate change, that just does not feel like the trade-off is worth it, right?
No, I mean, also it's not currency. Like it's just a speculative market. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's just like a way to try to make money.
It's just gambling.
And most of it is. It's not really gambling as much as it's like kind of just a scam in the same way that like stocks are generally a scam. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. I can pretty uncritically say that I think it would just be rad if it was legal. And I'm not really like into that typically, but you know. Like whenever I learned about the thing in China where they found like the crypto farms and they were just breaking them up and they would take people's GPUs outside and run them over a steamroller, I was like, that's awesome. Like, I'm sorry, that's like uncritical, like completely, like unironically amazing, you know. I don't know. Just think it's funny. It's an unironic example of like a President Xi Jinping, please come and liberate our people from or whatever. Let's see here. Ted says it's also like what you want to be able to play literally anything, but you could probably play 90% of games for closer to like 1,000, maybe 1.2.
I can't imagine I'll be playing a ton of games that are more demanding than Elden Ring. But that's also a thing that changes with time, right? Like, once the game market pushes beyond Elden Ring, like, now all my stuff's just out of date now.
Ted says it would be good, which I'm assuming he's talking about making crypto illegal. General says they don't want to lower costs after that, and supply chain shenanigans ran it up. Folks still pay for it, which is sad. And then Ted says the making of it into a real currency, the processing power goes up over time, becomes less efficient as a currency. It will never be a currency. That's silly.
No.
It's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
And then Fenrir says you should be able to target fairly low cost if you're just aiming at 1080p 60 FPS stuff, which I think that would probably be fine for you.
Absolutely.
And then Emma says, funny enough, Elden Ring has a lot of performance issues even with higher end PCs, which I have heard of that too. Just kind of not really made with a PC in mind, I don't guess.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't need to stream Elden Ring, obviously, because I would probably do it. I'd be done with this stream before that dream ever came to fruition.
I was talking about this not too long ago with someone about like the idea of getting a PC for myself. Because I think those days are probably done for me. Because even if I got like the nicest PC in the world, I would probably just use it to play Team Fortress 2. And you can run Team Fortress 2 like on your phone probably these days. Like it's not a very high tax. I don't know. There's just not really anything interesting for me in that zone, and everything's too fussy and annoying, and I'm too old and like irritable for it. I think
it does seem like a lot of things to learn how to maintain.
Yeah, I get too upset at like computers and stuff, like tech stuff not working too easily these days. Like when I was younger and I had all this time and patience to like try and troubleshoot my computer, you know.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of a different.
Oh, I have experienced a very similar arc. Yeah, like every time I need to do two-factor authentication to log in to a website, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I gave you my password. Do I have to do this every time? It's like the scene in Eyes Wide Shut, like, well, do you know the second password?
Yeah.
Okay, we're in the Forbidden Lands, people.
We are. There's the nasty boys are here too.
The
guys we talked about,
the vulgar militia. They're hanging
Yeah.
out in the lands that are forbidden. We
Yeah,
need to go.
That's what vulgar people do.
Yeah, they break the rules.
Ted says, that's what I'm saying. A lot of estimated costs assume really high-end performance. Emma says Cam is an old man. With regards to this, yes, unapologetically.
Same.
I don't care. I hate it. It makes me mad, and I get, like, it, like, lowers my ability to enjoy something if I've got to, like, putz with it for an hour before. Oh, nice cavalry.
Look at that. Another one of these. I was mentioning last time you ran into one of these guys that they are in service of somebody, and they are in service of Morgoth. I recently learned.
That's cool. We love a good, like, hey, this is like a nasty dark thing, but it's in, you know, they're like the spec ops for the good guys, actually.
Yeah.
Or quote unquote good guys. There's a really great. I know you're not really like a comic book guy, but there's a really great series that has kind of had like several different iterations. It's called X-Force, and X-Force is like a offshoot kind of like the X-Men.
Okay.
But their job is to kind of like do the stuff that like the very like public image worrying about for good reasons X-Men can't do. So it's like they're basically like assassins and stuff.
Oh, he
man,
got
he
me.
you. He's
Died to a Knight's Cavalry. Apologies.
Apologies.
46 deaths.
But yeah, it's just neat. It's like, like we need this. There's like a guy who's like going around and trying to get our rights taken away, and we need somebody to just like murk him, and we can't just like send Cyclops out there and just go blast this guy's head off, or everybody would kind of probably get mad at us. And so they like have a team that like is that takes care of stuff like that. It's neat.
So are you saying that the Knights Cavalry are COINTEL Pro?
Kind of, I guess. More like just like it's like what would any like like juntas more like it's like a cat's paw third party thing. Yeah. Ted says, I think Swaffer would like the post House of M X Factor, the one you like. Yeah, possibly. That would be like the thing, but I just don't think Swaffer really likes comic books.
Not really. I am enjoying working my way slowly through Berserk, but I don't think I'll ever get into serialized comics in that way.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of maybe different than, like, it's pretty easy to like pick up a chunk of it and read that, and that's like often what gets like recommended you do is, you read like this guy's run of this book or whatever, so you read like, X Factor Volume 2 or whatever, it's like 60 issues and then you're just done. But there is like levels of continuity stuff to it that like, you're
I'm
gonna
sure it's
at
richer
least
if
want
you
to
know
like
the
consult
context.
something. Do what?
I'm sure it's richer if you know the context that exists within.
Yeah, absolutely. And things tend to get very like, insular and like writing to people that they think have read almost everything, or at least have a general idea of what's going on. So it's a hard sell, I think, to get someone into it. I mean, I started reading comics when I was like 4 or something.
Right.
Like, I got given a stack of Fantastic Four comics by a family friend when I was like really, really, really young. And so like I've just sort of like, it's always just been something that's been like around. And fairly easy once you kind of like speak the language of it to like, not even read anything for like 2 years and then just kind of come back into it and be like, what's going on now?
Right.
And, but like trying to get into comics as like a 30-plus-year-old person, I think is probably it's a bit of a difficult
I will pass.
hill to climb. Yeah.
I'm enough of a nerd in many other ways.
Right.
I don't feel like I
yeah.
need to earn my nerd cred in that way.
For sure. I wouldn't recommend it.
Man,
Emma says, I like doing weird stuff on PC. I like modding games and making stuff like Breath of the Wild run at 4K 60 FPS on my PC with insanely updated graphics.
I
See,
don't
care
want to
about
do
any of
that. I don't. It would be fun to play some of the Dark Souls 1 mods or something, but that's ultimately not worth the $1,500 it's going to cost me to make a PC. I would mostly just want a more stable streaming experience. Yeah.
Hey, look, you got invaded by Spades.
It's Spades.
There he is with his bow and arrow. It's Spades.
What's up, Spades? Do you want to fight, maybe? Or do you want to run away from me annoyingly?
He's running towards no one, though. Did you hit Spades in the back?
Spades is dead.
Spades?
I killed Spades
What?
in 3 hits.
Uh-oh. I'll give him one of these. You pointed down. It's like being nice. Wow. Good grief.
I'll put that one on the counter.
Maybe you shouldn't get into fighting games. You're gonna be one of those people that hit scores a combo and then teabags 500,000 times.
It's not like he was trying to gesture at me. He was running away to try to get enemies to aggro or something.
No, he was running. Oh, he ran back though. He was running probably to a place that he thought was better to fight at. If I were to guess.
Okay, well.
He wasn't running. If he were running towards enemies, he would ran this way, not that way.
He's dead now.
It's too late.
Too late. I don't know where that.
He's very happy that you're reading Berserk.
Yeah, I actually just finished Volume 6 the other day.
Nice.
Nice.
How are you feeling about Lost Children there, Swafford?
Am I past Lost Children?
Lost Children is the one with it's the one with the the kind of boss apostle, I guess, is the moth girl.
Oh, yeah, I'm past that at this point.
Okay.
The thing
Did you
that I
like Lost Children?
I did like Lost Children. Yeah.
Lost Children is so good. Lots of people give it a lot of crap, but I think Lost Children is really, really good.
No, I think that they do a really good job kind of establishing new stakes pretty quickly. And I think that it's kind of folding in at this point another layer of mythology with all the elf stuff.
Right, yeah.
As opposed to the elf just kind of being a comic relief character who's there to kind of summarize what Guts is doing.
Right. I love Puck. He's great.
Puck is great.
There's
I really did not like him in the first volume, but I like him a lot now.
There's a great little panel from him in, I think it's Conviction, which would be the arc you're in now.
Yeah.
Where Guts, I can't remember. Guts tells Puck you just leave me alone or something like that, and Puck says the story would be too dark if I wasn't in it or something like that. I love that so much.
Yeah, the arc that I'm in right now, and what I'm about to say may apply to a lot of different arcs, but it kind of seems to center around the character that Melania is modeled after. Lady Farnese. Yeah. Lady Farnese, who I think is among the most interesting characters in Berserk. She's
just
so cool.
Wait, dude. Farnese has this is Berserk talk now, everybody. But Farnese's whole thing, she's one of the best characters in the book. Her arc that she goes through during Conviction and following it.
Died.
Oh, he got you.
I'm sorry.
Got you to the third. You got by the third Black Blade Kindred of history.
That's true. Oh man, I'm just gonna go to the Stake of America. Yeah,
okay, I'll try to get up as close to that as I can.
I may just try to get him myself so that he doesn't get the health boost.
Get him, then just get him.
Anyways, what are you about to say about Farnese?
She's just a great character. She has a very, very nice growth over time. that sort of like it does a completely different thing from Guts, and I think it's really neat. And yeah.
Yeah, I like how much almost contemporary like thematics about religious guilt
Yes.
and
Yeah.
sexual shame and stuff like that is kind of built into her character.
Yeah. Farnese is great. Her brother Serpico also great. I love all of like the like Guts's second group of people that he hangs out with, uh, like Farnese and Serpico and
Have
like
I met
Isidro
Serpico?
and stuff. I think you have. I mean, if you've seen Farnese, you've seen Serpico. He's like with her.
Is he one of the pretty boy knights?
Yes, he like he is probably the one you're thinking of when you say Pretty Boy Knight. He's got like the little like
There's one that gets way more dialogue than all the others.
Yeah, he's got like his eyes are always closed.
Yes.
Like yeah, that's Serpico. And then have you met Isidro yet?
Give me something else to remind me. Who is that guy?
He's like a little boy that like Guts runs into on the road. He's like just like a kid that's like a thief.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not ringing a bell.
Yeah. If you haven't yet, it's not far off. He's great too. Lots of really fun stuff with like Isidro and Puck. They become like really good friends.
Sweet. Yeah, Puck does not currently have a buddy.
Yeah.
Where I'm at.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah,
the Blackblade Kindred. Ridiculous. Boss.
Yeah. Lots of people think that Lost Children is like too edgy or something, which it is certainly that.
I think that if too edgy is a complaint that you're going to lodge, you maybe should not be reading Berserk in the first place. Too edgy is kind of a lot of what it's doing.
Yeah. The second that you like clear the eclipse, I feel like it's sort of in for a penny and for a pound, right? Like there's not really much else that the thing can throw at you to cross that line, I don't think. And so like Lost Children is not that. I mean, it is like horrific, I guess, but a lot of the book is. I also just really, really love like so much of the art in Lost Children's. Like it is so good.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a panel in Lost Children where there's like a ton of the little fairies that are like attacking the town, and Guts like steps into a big swarm of them and like turns his sword flat ways and just like paddles a bunch of them, like literally just like slaps a bunch of them so hard that it's like they got hit by a truck or something. They're just like splattered on the side of the sword. And it's like, man, like it's a really like one of those like Mura, double spread things.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of like, I would have never even thought of that, and like to think of that and then like put it to paper with such detail is so cool.
I just saw a very like too edgy, messed up image in Berserk, and it's there's a cult of people kind of hanging out outside where Farnese and company are, who like think they're participating in orgies, but what they're actually doing is like getting all I don't know, close and personal with like various like vague black shapes. Just swirling void. It's real nasty. Man, this Blackblade Kindred is giving me the business tonight. I cannot get past it.
Did he kill you?
He killed me a third time.
Oh no.
Yeah. Do you want to help me beat the Blackblade Kindred, or should we call it there?
I know. I'll help you. We'll do one more.
Should I go back to the site of grace?
No. I'm at him.
Okay.
If you just go to the stake, I should hopefully be able to find it.
Gotcha.
I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I'll just put my sign down like at the bottom of the stairs.
Okay,
Black
yours is
Flag,
already dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, mine's been dead.
Cool.
It's just at the bottom in the middle.
Sweet.
That's where my sign is. But yeah, I don't know. I usually describe Lost Children to people as like, let's do Black Swordsman again. And
It
like,
is
I
better
think that
Black Swordman. Yeah.
it's like doing the same thing where like Guts is like this super edgelord, but he's like written way better, and he also has like so much more pathos. Like by the time you get to Lost Children, that you're like, yeah, I kind of get it.
I meant to ask this back when we were talking about Berserk last time it came up on stream, but like,
Yeah.
why doesn't anybody recommend just like starting with like at the end of after the Black Swordsman arc?
You mean like starting at Golden Age?
Yeah, because they
I'm
do
sure
kind
people
of
do.
revise it.
Yeah.
It's not like you get up to Black Swordsman in the chronology and then you retread that exactly. You retread like a better version of it.
Yeah, it kind of like retreads it thematically as it's more clear that like Miura knows what he wants Guts to be as a character and stuff.
Right.
Ow, I'm dead.
Man.
I'll go put my sign back down exactly where it was. You can just try to
Okay,
get me
I'll do
again.
my best.
Yeah.
Oh, nope, I'm dead.
He got you. Oh my god. I was like barely paying attention. I'm sorry. We'll just try it one more time.
We'll try
If
it
we
one more
can
time.
Get him. You can just get him off stream. But yeah, like I think the reason that a lot of people like to still read Black Swordsman is, well, like there are a couple of things that happen in it that if you don't read it at all, you're gonna be like, wait, what? Like what is that? Like
Oh,
there
like
are
the
a couple
Behelit. Though I think
Yeah,
that
like
gets
he-
explained a little bit later.
Well, he gets it in Black Swordsman, and then it's just kind of there in Lost Children. So like
That's
if
true.
you started at Golden Age, another big thing is that like Black Swordsman takes place like only like a couple of months after Golden Age ends, and then like Lost Children is supposed to take place like a year after, or a year and a half or something. So like there is a pretty different like I don't know. Like Guts's level of experience is very clearly different in the two of them, and like, because the chronology is technically like Golden Age and then Black Swordsman and then Lost Children.
So Black Swordsman, it happened in addition to Lost Children.
Yes, it happens between Golden Age and Lost Children. Yeah,
Huh.
that's like when it happens. Yeah.
And that's when they drop you the Black Swordsman prototype chapter.
Yeah.
In
exactly.
the big volume.
Right. And so like the events of Black Swordsman are still important. And like also that's where he meets Puck and all that type of stuff too. So like if you were like just reading Golden Age and then also like there's like a Puck reveal in the Golden Age where like his troop is like seeing the eclipse, like the tornado or whatever at the interstice, and it's like, oh, it's Puck. Oh my god, like the first time you see him is kind of like intentionally a reveal.
Remember that guy?
Because you already know who he is. But like if you didn't read Black Swordsman and you got to that, you'd be like, so what?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
He gets like a double page spread of his art, and you'd be like, who is this little guy? I don't care. So yeah, it is like, I don't know, it's a thing that you should read, but like keep in mind that it is kind of like it is suffering from some like early installment weirdness, and like
for sure
you'll kind of like Black Swordsman more in retrospect than you will probably while you're actually reading it. Yeah. Did you point down on the Black Lake?
I did, yeah.
What's going on?
I don't like him.
We got it, Emma.
We got him. All right, well, that will be tonight's stream, everybody. Thank you for watching. Next time I see you, we will either be fighting through Mountaintops of the Giants, or we will be playing Street Fighter Third Strike. We shall see. But
we'll talk about it.
I will. I'll let you know. But yeah, have a good rest of your night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.